I've been in business online for the past 20 years, and recently I've discovered 5 painful things that I've had to learn again. I'm sharing them with you in this video so you avoid the mistakes that I made, so you can help grow your health coaching business faster without the guesswork, without the grind, and without a lot of the pain that I had to go through. Now, what I'm sharing with you is a result of me building a multiple 7-figure business online, as well as helping thousands of health professionals build 6, 7, 8, and even 9-figure coaching businesses online. And what's interesting is that in this journey of business, I would consider myself a little bit of a slow learner because I've made the same mistakes over and over again. And part of why I shoot these videos is for me to document my own learnings so that hopefully I can learn from them. And obviously I can share them with my team, but also with you as well, so you can help move your business further along and maybe avoid some of the pitfalls that I've made. So the first thing I want to share with you here is that the game of business is between you and you. There's no competition, right? The only competition you're fighting is between your ears. Every single day when you get out of bed. I mean, that's the first step, right? If we think about, you get up in the morning, your eyes open, you're laying in bed. And for me personally, it is one of the worst moments of my day. Because in that moment, my mind is not my friend. Your mind is not your friend. Because I can guarantee you this, you are not where you want to be in life. You're not where you want to be in business because of your mind. Your mind, our mind, the human brain is programmed to keep us safe, to keep us playing small, to leave us stuck in our comfort zone. And unfortunately, when you build a business, it is one of the most uncomfortable yet very rewarding journeys that we get to go on. But yet our reptilian brain wants us to keep us safe. So when we're looking at growing means it's uncomfortable. So everything we do, whether it's sending that email we don't want to send, having a hard conversation, pushing our limits, all of these are uncomfortable. And every single day we're laying in bed and we have that moment, at least I have, every day, where it's like, hey man, just sleep in, right? It's no big deal. It's not that big of, it's not that urgent. You can get to it later. Every single day, every single morning. This is the battle that I have to win. And maybe you have a similar battle when you're lying horizontal in your bed, eyes just opened up, and you're thinking to yourself, it's dark outside, it's cold, I'm comfortable in here. But I'm telling you this, comfort kills more dreams than anything else. And we have to be able to battle our own internal demons more than anything else. There's no competition other than between your ears. And so for me, at least, it's understanding that the mind is a terrible master, but a great servant. And what that means is we get to train it and mold it every single day. But if we don't, it becomes like a weed in your garden, which left unchecked will run rampant. And I noticed this in my business the last couple of months. Obviously, we were in Mexico for the winter. And it was interesting because we built this dream house that we had worked so hard for the past couple of years. And then we're there 4 months, beautiful weather, and I'm chilling, right? It wasn't that I wasn't working, but I had taken my foot off the gas pedal a little bit, and I got a little bit complacent, and I got a little bit lazy. And if I'm being honest, our business felt that. And because the business really moves at the energy of the founder. I don't care if it's just you or if you have many people on your team, when you start to kind of take things off the gas pedal a little bit, it starts to creep and accumulate and it starts to compound over time. And I noticed we had 4 months that were not great. And that was really weird for my journey in business. In the past 8 years of running Healthpreneur, we've never seen this. And I thought to myself, well, there's external factors. I'm not going to blame anything other than how I've shown up on a daily basis. And it's not that I haven't shown up, but maybe, if I'm being very honest, I haven't shown up with the same level of killer instincts and consistency that maybe I had previously. So this is a good reminder, first and foremost, for me to complacency kills and so does comfort. And this is why it's also very, very dangerous to achieve your goals. Because as soon as you've hit them, you start to coast. And you might think to yourself, well, Yuri, when is it ever enough? When do you ever slow down? The reality is you don't ever slow down. That's the reality. You don't slow down. You can be grateful, but never satisfied. So then it's always looking at, okay, what's the next target? What's the next goal? Because if we don't, man, it is a really, really bad place to be from a headspace perspective. And every single day when you are laying in bed and you decide to hit that snooze button or, I'll get to it later, not that big of a deal. You're like, I'm not going to work out today. All of those little commitments you've made to yourself that you start breaking completely erodes your confidence and how you show up as an individual, and it reflects in everything else you do. When I say it's between you and you, that's why I don't give a shit who the competition is. I don't care who your competition is. The only thing that matters is you and you. When you show up and you master yourself, everything else takes care of itself. Okay, so the second painful thing I've had so recently be reminded of is that how you do anything is how you do everything. So the tiniest of details matter. If you don't make your bed, I'm just going to make some assumptions. Okay. If you don't dress well, and when I say dress well, I don't mean dressing in like a skirt or a dress or a suit. I'm talking about just like looking put together. I wear shorts and t-shirt most of the time, but I don't look like a vagabond. And so when I look at these small things, like how you do anything is how you do everything. If you don't take care of yourself, I can guarantee you're not taking care of your business. And I don't care what anyone says about this. I've been on planet Earth long enough to see this millions of times. How you do anything is how you do everything. If your house is a mess, so is your life. If your life is a mess, you don't have a successful business, and no tactic will ever save you. And it's all about understanding that if you want to take your business to the next level, it starts with the smallest little minutia that you might think is so insignificant, you're not even doing it. If it's simple to do, it's also simple not to do. And this trickles over into my parenting. And I'll give you an example of this. So one of my sons, one of my kids, I've got 4 boys, comes home from school like yesterday, and we're having this conversation, and I'm like, hey, what was good at school? Nothing. The typical conversation, like, what'd you learn today? Nothing. What'd you love? Meh. Recess. Okay, cool. Well, is there anything you're working on at school? So then he says, yeah, we're reading this book and we have this presentation on Thursday, which is 2 days away. And he's like, well, I can't do the presentation because I haven't read the book. And I was like, well, why haven't you read the book? And he's like, well, because we were away in Mexico, right? And we got back 2 weeks ago. And I was like, okay, well, where's the book right now? He's like, it's in my binder. And I said, well, where's your binder? He said, it's at school. And I said, well, I'm just curious. I'm like, walk me through this. So you have this book report / presentations due on Thursday, but you can't do it because you haven't read the book? And then he starts crying. And this is his defense mechanism because I know he's lying to me. So I said to him, I'm like, so just let me, he's like, I don't have to read the book, but I'm like, okay, so if I ask your teacher, if I email your teacher right now and your teacher says, Luca does not have to read the book, is that the response I'm going to get? Or the response going to be, Luca needs to read the book and present on Thursday? And he just kept dodging the questions and telling me the truth. And I'm like, buddy, I'm just asking for the truth here. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. Because ultimately what this comes down to is that he tends to play the victim card a lot, okay? And I told him, I'm like, Luca, why were you not able to bring the book home? He said, it's in my binder. I said, where's your binder? He said, it's in my locker. I'm like, well, why is your binder in your locker when it could be here at home for you to read? Because when you got home, somehow you found time to play 2.5 hours of Minecraft, which, by the way, we don't even, it's 1 hour at the most. So I'm just trying to understand what's going on here. And he's like, well, it couldn't fit in my bag. I was like, the book couldn't fit in your bag? No, the binder couldn't fit. Okay, well, what about the book? Take it out of the binder, put it in the bag. So all of this, he is finding excuses for why he can't do something. Now, I don't give a shit if my kids like me, to be honest. I'm not here to be their friend. I'm here to prepare them to be absolute amazing people on this planet. And I love them and I'm very kind to them, but I'm not nice. And I'm very, very disciplined, not in terms of hitting them, but in terms of setting boundaries. And I told him, I'm like, dude, how you're showing up here is exactly how you're showing up everywhere else. How you do anything is how you do everything. So if I'm looking at again, I'm just using my son Luca as an example. And if he's watching this, you know what I'm talking about, buddy. You have to look at the small things. I'm making excuses for not being able to bring a book home to read because I don't want to, right? But there are things in life that you have to do even when you don't want to do them. And there's always a reason, there's always a way to point the finger at someone else and blame them. Or we could always look in the mirror and be like, yo, I didn't do this. I could have brought the book home. I didn't want to. Let's just be honest. Okay, why didn't I not want to do that? Well, because I didn't want to do this thing. That's fine. Just be honest about it. But at the same time, it's learning the lesson. It's listen, I don't give a shit about the school system. I think it's a complete joke. It's a 6-hour kindergarten daycare for my kids. I'll just put it that way. But I tell them, do not let the school system get in the way of your education. You can still have a passion for learning. And I understand if you're reading a book that who gives a shit about, but If you don't care about putting in these small little efforts here, it's going to compound in other areas of your life. And so hopefully by the time they leave this house, there's one thing that they get from me, and that is to take responsibility for everything, everything, good or bad. It's always, always, without fail, our fault. And I tell this to my clients like until I lose my voice. And I've shared this in every single one of my videos. It's like, it seems like if you do not take responsibility for everything in your life, you are a victim. And I don't care what the shit is going on in your business, in your like personal situation, it is always your responsibility. And I know that's going to trigger some of you guys, and that's your problem. If you're looking to be offended, you'll always find reasons to get offended. Or you can just say, what can I learn from this? And I'm not trying to blame anyone. I'm just saying, like, listen, if you want to get better, you need to take power and control of your situation. And the more you start pointing, the more you keep pointing your fingers at other people. I got scammed out of this coaching program. They took all this stuff from me. I'm like, shut the fuck up. You're a loser. Okay? That's how losers talk. No one scammed you. Okay? Maybe they did. Maybe they did. So what? Move on. So for instance, if you invested in a coach or a course or whatever, and that person took off with your money, that sucks. Okay. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that. That sucks. But here's the difference between victims and victors. Victims will say, I got scammed. They did this to me. I can't trust anyone as a result. Boo-hoo. Victors are like, that sucked and I'm not happy about it. However, I'm the one who made the decision. I'm the one who chose to do this. And so if we take radical ownership, it's on us. And we learn from that. Cool, what can I learn from that experience? So when I talk about these small things, I'm talking about everything. Like make your bed in the morning, brush your teeth, like put yourself together, tie your shoes. Don't walk outside looking like you're going to a pajama party. I'm not talking necessarily to you, but a lot of the kids these days who are wearing just like disheveled jogging pants and Crocs with socks, they look like they're just like half dead. Cool. Awesome. Right. And I think that's a great reflection of the generation that we have created. Now, I'm going to make it my life's mission so that my kids don't become that. I think it's just fucking atrocious. So anyways, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but how you do anything is how you do everything. The smallest things leading to the biggest things in your business. Third painful lesson is hunger is everything. I get asked a lot of times, you've got clients who've done millions per month and you have clients that are barely making 10K per month. What's the difference? Well, the difference comes down to this: hunger, period. When you want it the most, that's it. Nothing trumps desire. Nothing trumps desire. So I'll show you how this shows up. If you have show rate issues, right? People book a call with you and they don't show up on the call. And do you know why? Because they're comfortable in their situation. That's it. Someone's overweight and they say they want to change and they book a call with you because let's say you help them lose weight and they don't show up. It's because they don't want to get better. They are comfortable being a fat slob, period. That's it. Like maybe they don't show up because they don't want to be sold something. I get that totally. But fundamentally, okay, if their kids were kidnapped and they had to book a call with you to get the kids back, even if they knew they were going to be sold something, they would show up on the freaking call because most people have settled for mediocrity, right? It's an absolute pandemic. The level of standards that most people have today is atrocious. They're okay being overweight. They're okay being unhealthy. They're okay being broke, making a couple grand a month as a business owner. I'm like, are you crazy? Are you nuts? Like, how do you even live on that? And so when I look at our clients or anyone I've worked with who's done phenomenally well financially, it's simply because they want it more. That's it. And some people, we all have these thresholds. We all get to a level of income that we feel comfortable at. It could be 10,000 a month, it could be 100,000 a month, it could be $1 million a month, it could be 5 million a month. Doesn't matter what it is. We all have these ceilings. We all have this internal thermostat, which is a reflection of our standards. And our standards are a reflection of our self-worth. And we will only get in life what we believe we are worth. So if you feel like a piece of shit, your business will reflect that. And so will your bank accounts. But if you believe that you deserve more, not from an entitlement perspective, but because that's how you see yourself in the world and you show up and add value and continue to go above and beyond from a place of service, your business will reflect that as well. So it's really simple. The hungrier you are, the more you will make. The hungrier you are, the more people you'll help. And that's It's really that simple. And that's why, like, it's funny, working with thousands of health professionals and tens of thousands more who we've not worked with because they get in their own way. I want to make a big impact. I want to help a lot of people. No, you don't. You're helping no one. You have no money. You're burnt out helping people you think are making a difference in their lives, but you're not. Again, if you're getting like triggered by some of this stuff, I don't care. I'm just telling you the truth. My goal here is not to motivate you, it's to tell you the truth. And I see people all the time, right? They're living in this delusion of like impact and I want to transform lives, but you're making $1,000 a month. You're helping no one. The amount of money in your bank is a direct reflection of the number of people you're impacting. And if you don't like that, well, you can move to a different planet where the scoreboard is a bit different. But on planet Earth, that's what matters. And if you don't agree with me, then please tell me how are you validating impact and transformation you're making in the world? Oh, like, because I give free advice and people tell me they love it. Great, they're not doing anything with it. When people pay, they pay attention. If they don't pay, they don't pay attention. If they don't pay attention, they don't get results. And then you don't grow your business because no one's paying you and no one's getting the results from the work you're doing. So let's not confuse free information with transformation. When people pay you money, that's when they transform because the transformation happens at the transaction. So if you truly want to help a lot of people, then you got to get out of your own way and do what you have to do to sell more, to enroll more clients, to make more money, because that number financially is a reflection of the people's lives you're helping. That's it. So if impact is a big thing for you, that's amazing. Income is the byproduct of impact. So again, if you're making little to nothing, you're not impacting a lot of lives. You have to find something that's going to motivate you, to get you hungry, to keep that fire burning inside. Because I'm telling you, as I just shared earlier, like it's very easy to hit certain plateaus in your life, and you will if you haven't already, where it's like things are okay. They're not too bad. But I'll tell you, one of the fastest ways to get out of that is to hang around other people who are significantly further ahead from you. And one of two things are going to happen. One, you are going to belittle them. You're going to say, oh, like these guys or these gals, like it's all about the money and it's not all about that stuff. You're going to find ways to soothe yourself because you're nowhere near that environment. And it's going to make you feel very uncomfortable. Or two, it's like, okay, fuck this. If these guys can do it, I can do it too. And you start to use positive peer pressure to elevate you, to pull you forward to a higher level. And this is why it's massively important to be part of masterminds or coaching programs with other people that are kind of on the same wavelength, a little bit further ahead from you or a lot further ahead from you, to continually show you what's possible and remind you of how you're playing small. And it's really that simple, guys. Like peer pressure is one of the most incredible things on this planet. Comparison is the thief of joy, for sure. But positive peer pressure is incredible because left to our own devices, if we were by ourselves in the middle of nowhere, most of us would have very little drive to make things better. But as soon as you're in surroundings and we're comparing ourselves to other people, what they have, listen, like we all do this. There's a lot of power in that. But the key here is to recognize that we're not trying to be like someone else, but to be inspired by someone else or what they've accomplished and what they've done. And it's also a great reality check to be like, what am I missing? This person has less, came from less, has been doing this less than I have, and they're 10 times further ahead. Well, what it comes down to is they simply want it more. Hunger, desire is everything. Everything else is figure outable from that. But if you don't have that obsessiveness, you will not become great. Obsession is one of the most common traits among the best business leaders on the planet. They're obsessed with their product. They're obsessed with getting better. They're obsessed with influence. They're obsessed with everything. And even like when it comes, like if we look at an example of like sports, okay? In the world of sales, if you want to get exceptional at communication, but you never practice, you're going to be so caught off guard so much that you're going to hate selling because you suck at it. And none of us like stuff that we suck at. So the only way to get better at it is to get better at it by practicing. All of this stuff is figure outable. But if you don't want it in the first place, you're not going to put in the energy to make it happen. So hunger is everything. Hey, we'll get back to the video in just a moment, but if you're enjoying this content, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And I've got videos coming your way every single week until I die. And I don't plan on dying anytime soon. And what that means for you is that you'll be getting my best insights to help you grow your health business online faster without the grind and without all the guesswork. But the reality is this. I'm not asking for a lot, just a simple little commitment, which is for you to subscribe to the channel right now. And that way you can get notified every single time we're dropping a new video to help you grow faster. So all you have to do right now is hit that subscribe button below. It will help me sleep a lot better at night. But more importantly for you, it'll help you build your dream a lot faster. So go ahead, subscribe, and we'll get back to the show. Number 4, I love sales, and I work with our team on sales. I coach our clients to become better at sales. And the thing that I've recognized is the best people in sales are the best coaches. If you've followed my work, you know that for me, coaching and selling are exactly the same. It's just different spelling. You know, if you want to think about it, coaching is what happens after they pay you. Selling is what happens before. But it's the same conversation. So why I say the best people in sales are the best coaches is because coaches tell you what you don't want to hear to help you achieve results that you're not able to achieve on your own. That's why if I ever had a conversation with you one-on-one, I would never buy your story. I don't care your background. I don't care if your parents beat you or if you were put into a foster home, if you had nothing coming up. I don't care because I have empathy for that. But do you know how many other people have been in worse situations who've done more like on the other side of that? For every story I've heard a similar story of someone becoming successful. So I don't care about the backstory. So in sales, you're either buying their story or they're buying your solution. And a great coach is able to get to the truth. Selling is not about closing someone. It's about getting to the truth. And the truth is, if you can benefit from what I have to offer and I know you can help you, then I'm going to do everything in my power to help you see what I see so we work together. And if we don't, you're crazy. You lose. And I'm not okay with that. But when we're not good at coaching people to change, because selling is essentially helping someone do what's in their best interest, which is very much like coaching. Coaching is helping someone do what's in their best interest. So as an example, I'm working out with my trainer yesterday and I'm going through a leg workout that I'm not really enjoying. And if I were doing that on my own, I would have probably stopped halfway through. My legs were toast. They're still toast today. I'm walking down the stairs and I'm like, I think my leg is going to buckle. But that's what coaching does, right? And I don't need him to spot me every second. I just need to stand there to be like, do 2 more. We're going to do these 5 exercises, not 2, not 3, 5 exercises, 8 reps, 4 sets, get it done. Okay. That's what coaching and selling is. It's getting you to do the thing you know you want to do, but you're not able to do on your own. Is it uncomfortable? You better fucking believe it is, but who cares? Are you here to grow or are you here to be comfortable? You're not going to have both. So if you're uncomfortable when your legs hurt, have a tissue. I don't give a shit. Give me another set. Because if you say you want what you say you want, this is how we're going to get there. Because left to our own devices, we're not doing shit. So this is why when I talk about selling, it's not about like being slick and like having all the word tracks. It's about caring about someone. Because if you care about someone and you see the nonsense they're telling themselves, they're holding themselves back. So that's why I say when I look at the clients that I work with and I look, because I review their sales calls and I give them feedback and I help them, handle these different situations. And I get emotional when I see our clients evolve as humans, because I see how they show up in their sales calls, their enrollment calls. And I'm like, the 2.0 version of you is unbelievable because it's not what they say, it's how they show up because of who they become. When you are like so confident in your own skin, you don't even have to speak. The person's like, here's my credit card. Let's go. I don't even know what I'm getting into. People can feel your energy, and great coaches have confidence in their ability to hold space. They're not going to get steamrolled. They know that, here's the deal, like the person you're working with doesn't know better. They don't have the answer. If they did, they wouldn't be seeking your help. So for you as a coach or an expert to be steamrolled by some prospect who is unhealthy, overweight, sick, whatever the situation is not even comprehensible. It's crazy. I'm like, dude, let's just be honest here, right? Who's got the track record? You have the track record of the problem. I have the track record of results. Let's just make sure who's in the doctor frame here. And it's like, we forget this. We feel that we're speaking to some kind of stranger. So it's like, oh my God, thank you so much for booking a call with me. No, congratulations on showing up and being committed. It tells me you're sick and tired of this situation because I'm sure you have other stuff to do than speak with a random stranger for the next hour. Isn't that right? Cool. So tell me about what's going on and why you want to change it. And if you're able to have that conversation, all of a sudden, the whole energy of that shifts. And that's not selling, it's coaching. And that's why I say, like, if we were ever to work together and you made no money in the first year, it would still be the best investment you ever make. Why? Because I'm going to shape you into a new version of you. I'm going to shape you into a new human, right? One who's able to stand in their own power and like not being an arrogant asshole, but just being confident and amazing at what you do. And maybe you're already there and that's amazing. That simply means your business will move faster because your business is a byproduct of your personal growth. All business growth comes after personal growth. So if your business is not where you want to be, don't look at the business, look in the mirror. That's your biggest constraint. You look at, how am I showing up? Where am I taking care of the small things? How you do anything is how you do everything, right? And I'm going to finish with this last one. So the fifth painful lesson is that how it starts is how it ends. So we all judge a book by its cover. As much as you want to say you don't, you do. When I'm reviewing sales calls of our clients and they're talking with a prospect, in the first 5 seconds, I know with almost 100% accuracy if that person is going to enroll. And you know how I make that snap decision? It's solely based on how they show up on Zoom. And I'll give you a little bit of a tell. So if you have someone you're speaking to who's a prospective client and they show up on their phone, it's over. If they're on their phone and they're laying on their couch and the phone is like down here looking up and they're barely in the screen, it's over. If they're on Zoom and they can't even show up properly on camera, like they're in the corner of Zoom and they have a blurred background, it's over. The reason they have what they have is exactly the same reason they can't even show up properly on video. And I know that sounds incredibly judgmental. Call it whatever you want. I call it pattern recognition. When you're in business for 20 years, there's one thing you get very good at. It's recognizing patterns. So when someone applies to work with us and they don't put their last name on an application, guess what I do? I cancel that shit. You're never speaking with us. If you don't show, if you schedule a call with us and you don't show, you will never speak with us. You will never work with us because I have zero tolerance for that shit. You waste our time, tells me you don't take your business seriously. I will never work with someone who treats their business like that. Never. And that's exactly why you're suffering. Not you, but that person. So in the context of our clients, we're helping the average person improve their health. And this person shows up like a fucking disaster. We're in the first 5 seconds. I'm like, there's no way. I can tell right away this person has no money. They don't have any confidence. They have nothing. Now, if you're incredible at coaching someone through that stuff, hey, maybe there's a shift. Maybe there's a shift. Maybe. How it starts is how it ends. If you're talking to someone who's a dickhead, they're going to be a dickhead the whole way through working with you. Okay? People are people. How they show up, that first impression with you, whether it's in a Zoom call, how they shake your hand, the energy they bring to that first interaction is who they are. That's not going to change. We've had people apply to work with us, like on our team, right? So we have them go through a process, and part of that process is to submit a video cover letter. We've had people submit the video cover letter, and again, right away, I can tell. Right away, I can look at their video. I'm like, nope, forget about it. I can close my eyes and I can listen to them speak. I'm like, no, I would never have this person on my team because they can't even articulate. They don't even show up like a human. We've had people who've submitted these cover letter videos and like smoked up high on weed, or they're sitting on their bed with a closet right behind them that they could have closed, but is open and we can see all of their disheveled clothing. This is how people live their lives. This is why we have all these issues. People just like, they have no clue. And the standards for how they show up are atrocious. So they don't even make it past that first cover letter. And the reason we use a video cover letter is so that 100% we can judge them. Yeah, we can look for these patterns. Can you speak? Can you communicate articulately? Can you get your point across? Do you have good lighting? And then you look at these things like, oh, I've got this amazing track record and all this stuff, and I've done all these businesses and all these different things, and they can't even show up on Zoom properly or their Loom video. I'm like, what? There's a disconnect. So I'm telling you guys, like, judge people. Please judge, because your intuition's right. When you meet someone and you're like, this person's energy's off, fucking listen to it. Please, your best coach is right here. When you're about to embark on something that feels scary or risky, a lot of times that's the right decision. It just feels scary. It doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. Listen to yourself, right? And start to understand the difference between your energy and your emotions that are trying to keep you small. But when you meet someone, whether it's a potential client, like prospects, or maybe you're hiring someone or whatever it is, pay attention to that intuitive hit. Like, you know if this person's full of shit. You may not be listening to it, but you know. And whether you listen to that or not is up to you, because they're showing you their best first impression. So how it starts is how it ends. You can't have a happy ending from an unhappy beginning. So these are 5 painful lessons. I know I've gone off on tangents here, but I just see them like rear their heads in so many different ways for me personally, and also through our business and different people and all kinds of stuff. So hopefully you found some value in this. If you have, I encourage you to watch the next video that will help you take your awesome health expertise to build a much more successful business online. Watch that next, and I'll see you there. So a quick little teach for you guys first and foremost. Why do people hire you? Let me know in the chat. Why do your potential clients pay you money?